Oh. Poor network can. Oh. I hope this works well this morning. Be on my side today, so apologies for that. I hope this works. Right. Oh. Hello, Helen. Hello, Abigail. Right. I want to make sure that I can see all the comments this time. So I'm trying to catch people before they have tea, and before they make the most of the evening sun. I haven't had my daily activity yet, so we're going out for a walk soon. But I wanted to jump on to live today to talk about concentration and focus, because I know that a few people in the last couple of days have been in touch and have asked why they can't knuckle down and why they can't do what they need to do, including ordinary duties that they'll be doing in their work anyway. So I know that change and different locations can really impact people. So I know that a lot of what I've talked about on my videos so far have been about setting goals and completing all your tasks and thinking about your future vision. And there's definitely scope for that and there's room for that. And I enjoy talking about that. And it's kind of how I've naturally responded to this situation. But sometimes that just doesn't really work. And sometimes you need to give yourself permission to accept that you're not going to have concentration or focus, and that if you try and start something, you know you're not going to finish it. And the way that we're kind of trained as humans is that if you start something, you must finish it. And if that becomes really, really difficult, then you end up beating yourself up. And it can become a cycle then, because why can't I finish this task? Why can't I concentrate? Why can't I do this and that? And it can be quite a slippery slope into real frustration and anger and resentment of those around you that seem to be quite blissfully getting on with their days. So, a piece of advice that I've been giving some people over the last couple of days about concentration and focus is to essentially give into the concentration and focus, because you don't need to beat yourself up about it. You just need to accept that you're not firing all cylinders. And what makes it really frustrating is that you probably don't know why you're not firing on all those cylinders in the first place. So, to figure out how to fire on those cylinders, what would be potentially useful for you is to forget about the task in hand and what you're trying to do, and to pay attention to what you're actually feeling. And there's different ways that we can do that. We can pay attention to the physical sensations that we're feeling when we're feeling frustrated, or we can actually get a pen and paper and we can go old school and we can write down exactly the train of thought that we're going through. There's someone at the door. Hello? Hello? In fact, Lula, you're inspiration for this video as well. Right, so I'm joined now by Tallulah. Hello. Say hello. So the reason why Tallulah is part of the inspiration of this video is because, what have you just been doing?
Eating cheese curd.
No, before that, downstairs?
Colouring.
Colouring. So mindful colouring and other bits and pieces like that are really, really useful and helpful ways of switching off from the concentration and the focus that's required from your job and from your family and other bits and pieces. So what were you colouring in?
Jasmine.
Princess Jasmine. So you might not have a Disney colouring book like we do, but you might have other shapes and other books at home that you can colour in.
But you can make your own colouring.
And you can make your own colouring. What would you draw? Oh, look, we've got a wild beast here as well.
She's not a wild beast. She likes my room and Leafy's room.
That's true. So going back to concentration and the frustration that you might feel, don't... Hello, Manny. Don't beat yourself up if you're losing your concentration and your focus, and actually almost give into it. And whilst you're in that frustration mode, have a pen and paper ready, and at that time, I want you to write down, you might not even know what it is you want to write down, but I want you to really pay attention to how you're feeling and what you're thinking of in that moment, and completely switch off from what you're trying to achieve, because you're not now trying to achieve anything. What you're doing in that time is thinking, I'm feeling frustrated and I've lost my concentration, so now I'm going to focus on what that feels like. And you can write down any gibberish to get started. It might be a colour, it might be a shape, it might be how your body's feeling, what the weather's doing. And what should happen over that period of time, whilst you're writing, is you might start seeing a theme or a trend as to what it is that's really blocking that concentration and that focus. So give yourself permission to go away with the fairies. It might be helpful to set a timer, because what you don't want to do is ruminate on these thoughts and just continuously write and write and write and write. You do want to make it quite quick, so maybe 5-10 minutes, just to get yourself out of the position that you're in where you've lost the concentration, and to start just writing about, I've lost my concentration, I'm feeling frustrated, and I can feel it in my chest, and I'm taking it out on whoever's in the room, and I think it's because of this. And as soon as you get to that stage where you think it's because of something, all of a sudden you can unwrap what it is that is causing the block and the frustration. And it might be the circumstances we're in anyway. Hello, Tori.
Who's Tori?
There you go. Say hello, Tori.
Hi there.
And once you've got a few of these themes, and if it's something that's happening daily, it might be something about the time of day, it might be to do with the company that you're stuck with, it might be to do with the tasks at hand, it might be because your job has completely changed or been got rid of in these situations. And that can be a really frustrating and scary time. So, of course, if you try and focus on something that is supposed to bring you joy, and you're not feeling very joyful at the moment, of course you're going to feel lost, and you're not going to have that focus and concentration, because
you're going to feel like sadness.
You are going to feel sadness. That's exactly what I was going to say. You're going to feel sadness, and you're going to feel empty and hollow. Yeah, because you don't know what's the point anymore.
You're going to feel like an empty bag.
An empty bag. Yes, you are. And that's okay, because as I was saying the other day, we're not designed to be happy all of the time. And if I can,
How do you remember that? Because you didn't remember your topic.
I don't know, my mind's really weird, isn't it? I can't remember the thing I talked about yesterday, but I can remember what I talked about a couple of days ago.
Okay.
But I mentioned the other day a book, The Happiness Trap, and the author of that book, Russ Harris, he has circulated Face COVID, which is about acceptance and commitment therapy, and about how we can use the values and the commitments and things like that for the current crisis that we're in now. And of course, acceptance is going to be the biggest thing. Committed, valued action is going to be on there as well. But if you've lost your concentration and your focus, over the last couple of days, I've been all about goals and all about future setting, and there is a time and a place. But as Tallulah just said, you can just switch off and be very mindful. And what can you do? Colour. You don't have to force yourself to do lots of things if you're not in that headspace yet. So stop beating yourself up thinking, hello Sarah, I need to complete these tasks, I must be concentrating, I must be focused, because you're just going to spiral if you keep holding yourself on that pressure. So be careful of that. Allow today and the rest of the week, if you've been having a tough week, to be like, I'm not going to try and achieve anything this week. I'm actively not going to achieve anything, and I'm okay with that. And I'm going to binge watch TV, I'm going to read pointless books, and I'm going to do nothing, absolutely nothing. But on Monday or Sunday evening, I want you to change that mindset and be like, it's a new week. It's week 2 of whatever circumstance we're in now, and I'm going to start making baby steps for myself. But for now, if you need it for this evening or tomorrow or the day after, it's okay to do the bare minimum if you're struggling. You were going to say something. What would you like to say, Tallulah?
What? Oh, you know the thing that, what did you say? You know, last week or something, you talked about, like, thing.
Which thing?
You said in this video, like, I don't know what it is. Mindfulness or
Yeah, we're talking about mindfulness, because mindful colouring is what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Which isn't just colouring in for the sake of colouring in either. So mindful colouring is where you're really taking in the senses of, well, all of your senses. You're taking in the texture of the paper, you're taking in how you're holding the pen, the pressure on your fingertips and the different sweat beads, and you're really focusing how it scratches and the sounds. And if you're using crayons, some crayons have a nice smell to them as well. And you get so lost in the activity that you're doing that you can wipe out everything else. What will still happen is you'll still have thoughts and you'll still have those frustrations around you. And the key thing to do there is to just give them. So if you're really close to me here and you've got frustration right here, then it's going to feel really, really big and it's going to block your vision, and that's going to be really frustrating because it's all. Whereas if you give it some space, accept it, it's not so much in your face anymore. And this is what colouring does, because you can focus on the colours and not on the issue. It's still there. You haven't got rid of it. You haven't pushed it away or anything. So it's still there. But the thing you're focusing on are the bodily sensations about the colouring. So how the colours are coming together, how the tension in your arm is building. And all the while you've got all these different thoughts going off around you, all your cares, all your worries. But you're just allowing them to circle around you.
It's like the bees taking them away, and then you're going to put it back when it's another day.
Exactly. We can worry about them another day or another time. And that's why mindfulness is so important. And then secondary to being mindful and being kind of in the moment, as it were, and letting all these worries go up here, is that some of you are probably seeing a life that you've never really had before, or that you might not have necessarily appreciated. And mindfulness incorporates the here and the now and the very present. And there's some people in circumstances right now who would never have spent this much time with another family member or in their own home and picking up skills. And so I've been helping Tallulah with piano. Not that I can play very well, but I know the basics. And you appreciate the people that are around you, and you appreciate the small little things and the humours and the quirks. And we're not afforded that in everyday life. What happens in everyday life is we go from A to B and then B to A, and we're rushing around, and it's a constant rush. Whereas what this time is allowing us, it's allowing all of us to be really appreciative of the fact that most of us, I know this isn't the case for everyone, are able to be in a safe space. We are able to watch television. We are able to stay connected through electronic devices.
Yeah.
And that appreciation of all those little things that are around us and a nice hot cup of tea really goes a long way in helping with that concentration and focus, because as soon as we can start looking around and we think, you know what, I'm actually quite lucky to be where I am, even if it's not perfect, but I can appreciate the good things, then that is all that matters. Oh look, Collie's watching.
Really?
Yeah?
First time ever, pretty much.
What do you want to say? Hi?
Hi there!
There you go. But, have you got anything else to say?
Hi.
Hi, we're about to say bye though.
Bye.
There you go. So I'm going to wrap this one up. So what was I saying? Concentration and focus. We don't have to be goal orientated all of the time. We are allowed to switch off, and consider this my permission, because I know I've been pushed over the last couple of days to switch off. Not for too long, because what happens is we spiral, and then I was talking about momentum yesterday, we lose that. So have a time and a date where you think, I'm going to start considering this properly now as to what I want to achieve. But for now, switch off, enjoy the sunset, enjoy the company you're in, enjoy the food, enjoy the films, enjoy whatever it is that you want to enjoy.
Another thing to come.
In that process, catch any frustrations that you have, catch them with a pen and paper, and just start free writing. And hopefully you'll identify something that you're having difficulty with, because it might be so much swirling going around there and it feels really big, and it might just be a few little building blocks. So go back and have a look at them, and just free write and just enjoy that, and be mindful in everything that you do, and appreciative of the circumstances that you find yourself in. Hope this has been helpful. If you do have any questions or any thoughts, I know that I've got a theme yet to come up, which I will do when the time is right, and I will... Oh.
The
There you go. Right, Collie's saying hi. Hello, Lizzie.
Hello, whatever.
Yeah, but look,
Okay,
we've got a new person to say hello to.
Hi there. This
There you
is my snowball Snowy.
That is your snowball Snowy. But yeah, we're going now. If you've missed the live, you can come back and watch the replay anyway. Hello, Abigail.
What hi there,
yeah.
Mummy.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
No, I said say bye.
Say bye.
Bye, bye, bye,
Bye, bye,
bye,
bye,
bye,
bye, bye, bye, bye, bye, bye, bye.
My cat.